thinking that you're a part of the solution by recycling and taking shorter showers. Stop thinking that you are helping to save the planet by walking to class and reusing your water bottle. The situation our planet is in is way too dire for these small changes. Instead, drastic lifestyle changes need to be made if we're going to slow climate change. And I say slow purposely because we are in way too deep to reverse climate change. But I know, everything you've been taught in school and by environmental campaigns says that turning off the water while brushing your teeth and using energy-efficient light bulbs is the best thing you can do to save the planet. And better yet, it's simple. Why would you not do it? Energy Star, an environmental organization that certifies energy-efficient products, says that if every American just changed one light bulb in their house to an energy-efficient one, then we would prevent 6 billion pounds of greenhouse emissions. That number sounds staggering, right? Of course it does. They want you to buy their product. Being energy efficient is attractive. So if they seem energy efficient, you're going to buy it, you're going to look attractive, want to tell all your friends about that, and then they'll buy more of that product. It's great advertising, right? This is called greenwashing. It's when companies label their product as eco-friendly, even if just one small ingredient is somehow recycled or sustainably sourced. The companies know that you'll be more likely to buy their product, even if it's hardly eco-friendly. Ironically, the energy it takes to recycle a product sometimes exceeds the energy it takes to make the product from scratch, and usually when you have to recycle something, you add a ton of toxic chemicals to it. More often than not, your green product is filled with dirty practices. It's not that companies don't know that their products are hardly eco-friendly, but when profit's their bottom line, they will do anything to get us to buy, and we do. We feel good that our small yet somehow significant efforts save the planet, right? Wrong. If we were actually helping to save the planet, we'd be cutting into corporate profits, which is the business world's worst nightmare. There is absolutely no way that we can consume the way we do and somehow still save the planet. There are just not enough resources on this earth to continue consuming the way we do for much longer. But corporations don't want consumers to know this, because then we'll stop buying and, oh no, hurt their profits. But what about the companies that promote recycling and conserving water? They're okay, right? Nope. Their hope is that by telling you to do these things, you'll be fooled into believing you're helping the planet instead of realizing how environmentally degrading their everyday practices are. Here's the real issue. By doing these small-scale environmental actions, you think you're helping to save the planet, but in reality, you're not having an effect on the solution. Instead, you're complacent in your actions and don't do anything greater or more worthwhile. Think about it. 40 years ago, the environmental campaign started telling people to recycle and not litter. Yet here we are, and the world is in no better place. In reality, we're in a much worse situation. By recycling and taking shorter showers, we believe that we're helping the planet and therefore are complacent in our actions, when in reality, our actions aren't making any difference on the environmental state of our globe. We're being fooled into believing that these actions are worthwhile, when in reality, the corporate practices are much worse for the environment. This is all intentional on the part of corporations. They want to blind us into believing that the environmental problems are our fault and therefore it's our job to solve them. They want you to think that recycling your one can of garbage makes a difference in the fact that 40 cans of garbage were made upstream during their industrial practices. But recycling is just not a big enough effort. Say the house were on fire, and all you were doing was carrying a drop of water, you might as well sit down because you're hindering the effort. What we need is the whole community to be carrying buckets of water. This is what's happening with corporations. Individual recycling is not enough. What we need is corporate practices to be using a lot less materials in their production and to be recycling what they are using. So if all you're doing is recycling or some other small effort, you might as well stop what you're doing and feel guilty about not making a bigger, more worthwhile effort. If you truly want to call yourself an environmentalist, do one of the things I'm about to mention, because then you'll actually be helping to save the planet. Stop eating meat. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of species extinction, ocean dead zones, habitat destruction, and water pollution. For starters, if you're concerned about Earth's dwindling water resources, the EPA suggests that you turn off your faucet while you're brushing your teeth. On average, that will save about 2 gallons of water, so if you brush your teeth in the morning and at night, you'll be saving 4 gallons of water a day. Or you could not eat meat that same day and save 2,000 to 3,000 gallons of water. Your choice. Just know that the latter has greater systemic benefits, like improving your health and cutting into the meat industry's profits, which is the leading cause of greenhouse gas emissions. It's more than the transportation industry. Stop buying. We wouldn't have the issues we have with waste and recycling that we do if people would just stop buying in the first place. When companies encourage people to recycle their product, what they're really doing is encouraging people to consume extra single-use products. Instead, we should be encouraging people to reduce their consumption and reuse what they already have, and then recycle. Hence why the phrase goes reduce, reuse, recycle. The order is crucial. Moreover, we as consumers have a huge influence over corporate practices. We just don't use it. Every dollar we spend is a vote. By buying environmentally unfriendly products, we are telling the company that we're okay with their practices. By buying greenwash products, we're telling the company that we're okay with them lying to us. We could bring unsustainable practices to an end if we just did a little more research and became conscious consumers. Because corporations want profits over anything else, if they see a decline in their profits, they'll give in to the demands of the consumer. We just have to demand it. Go into a service position. By going into a position of service like healthcare, teaching, or nonprofit work, you're going to be able to influence society at a greater level than any other job. This is much better than working for a corporation who promotes unsustainable practices. Be a social activist. But actually be active. Liking photos and sharing posts on Facebook is not enough to gain any sort of ground in society, in your community, in the government, or with corporations. Seek community action groups. Join a campaign or start a campaign against governments and corporations. Just be active and stay active. It'll be hard work, but if done right, you'll actually see change in the world. Live in a small space. Tiny houses aren't just a trend, they're environmentally friendly. Not only do they require less resources to build them, but frankly, you're going to buy less things because you don't have the room to put them in. This last one is a big shock to people because we don't hear it often, but maybe don't have kids. It's not up for debate in the scientific community that the most climate change is human-driven. While climate change is natural, the rate and severity at which it is currently occurring is completely unnatural and anthropogenic. Therefore, having more kids will only increase the anthropogenic factors relating to climate change. Overpopulation drives people to use and create more at completely unsustainable rates. I know this sounds crazy, but by producing another life, you're contributing to using that many more resources for an entire lifetime. The consequences of our exponential population increase are dire, but you don't have to contribute. And I know, you always wanted to be a parent, it's practically instinctual, but by producing another life, we're going to double the amount of resources used in the world. But instead, you can adopt. Think of all the children in the world who are already here and are going to use resources regardless who need loving parents. You can contribute to another person's life by providing environmentally friendly resources and teaching them to be a true environmentalist, and therefore not contributing to another life that will use double the resources. So if you don't want to fall into the corporate trap of small-scale environmental changes like the ones exhibited at the beginning of this video, do any of the larger-scale changes mentioned in order to call yourself a true environmentalist and really be a part of the solution. For more information and cool insights, check out our website at changesreal.org.